NBA's entire existence, there have been 4,374 players. Of those, only 9 have won 3 MVPs or more. Of those 9, 2 are of Caucasian descent. And of those 2, only 1 is of European descent. And his name is Nikola Jokic, a one-of-one who's entering his prime. And instead of celebrating the true legend and underdog story that he's become, the visible NBA media dismissed his 3rd MVP as phony, a robbery, and treated it like a funeral procession. The hate towards Nikola Jokic has become extremely confusing, sickening, and disgusting, because the only reason we can attribute this behavior to, unfortunately, is cue the damn music. Hello, YouTube fam!
You see, it's me! It's me!
It's your boy, Big V. Upon winning his 3rd MVP, Nikola Jokic had to hear this.
I want to congratulate you, but I want you to hear from me first. I thought the SGA should have been the MVP. That's no disrespect to you.
Imagine that. Imagine upon achieving a historic accomplishment from another man who played the same position as you to tell you on your face that you didn't deserve an award. And then for the rest of his colleagues to just sit there with their thumb up there, you know what, not changing the tenor of that presentation.
Number one, congratulations. You know, how has the shock of the size and the defensive pressure kind of caught you guys off guard? What?
As if he's the one controlling the voting. Instead of allowing him to revel in his accomplishment, that's how you guys made him feel. But the buck doesn't stop there. We had the squawking heads on moronic Gil's Arena say that they would pick Joel Embiid over Nikola Jokic if they had a chance. And they spoke for 10 minutes about, well, if Joel played enough, he would have been MVP. Well, he didn't play enough.
Who's the best player in the NBA?
I got Embiid. I got Joel.
You would pick a guy who's never made it out of the 2nd round, who can't stay healthy in the postseason, and campaigns for individual awards versus a guy who makes his entire team better, has actually won a title, and by all accounts is a great teammate? I wonder what's the motivation behind that. But okay, Gilbert Arenas is a known village idiot. So let's look at people whose opinions I actually respect.
And I think that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander should have been the MVP. We should have been talking about him this morning as the league MVP.
I respect Stephen A. Smith a lot, but I again do not appreciate nor respect the tone of the conversation.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander would have gotten my vote.
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is very, very deserving of an MVP award, and he played excellently this year. However, there's a saying goes, if you want to take the belt off the champion, you need to make it decisive. Do not leave it to the judges. Which brings us to the next point, the judges. All of the visible NBA media has a problem with Nikola Jokic winning the award, even going so far as to say they didn't give him their vote. And guess what? In the balloting, Nikola Jokic had 79 first place votes, while Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 15. 64 more people thought he was the MVP. So not only did he win, he won by a mother trucking landslide. But all the visible members of the NBA media are saying it was a mistake? I wonder why. Why would that be now? How could that be? Is it because Nikola Jokic's stats aren't good? Nope. Is it because he doesn't win? Nope. Is it because he's a shitty human? Also no. Oh, could it also be because he looks a little bit different from our past MVP winners? Maybe he's not, from an American college and 6'7" and chiseled out of marble and can jump out the gym and, not Caucasian? I don't think it helps to the fact that he's none of those things, but is still the best player in basketball by a country mile.
I mean, they got the best player in the world, and he's got the ball the entire game. So anytime you make a mistake, he sees it. So, I mean, it's hard to beat that.
So the whole world seems to think he's the MVP. The NBA at large seems fine with it. But the NBA media, who has all the television time, the self-same people who vote, are talking about how another player was robbed when their own peers have outvoted them almost 6-1. Dude, make it make sense. Well, it does, if we add the filter that we spoke about. That's what this is. Back to the first conversation where Shaq says SGA should have won. Before he talks to Jokic, he says,
Shea Alexander deserved it because I've been number 2 a lot and I played my ass off.
you were robbed many times, you're part of the big man alliance, but when a guy who is also a big man and is not being robbed, you have a problem with it. Kind of on the nose and hypocritical, hey Shaq? And it hurts me to say this because Shaq was my favorite player growing up. Where I went to school, being 6 foot tall was the equivalent of being Shaq in the US. However, you were deeply and utterly out of line for this comment. And so were the rest of the NBA media. You want to talk to us, the general public, about an MVP award which you and your peers are responsible for? What? Maybe you're just upset that the rest of the NBA media doesn't have a racial bias towards one type of player or another. Or maybe the rest of the NBA media are also of a different shade and they also have racial bias. I don't know. But all I can speak on is what I see. And for all members of the visible NBA media to act like this award was so out of pocket to be given to Nikola Jokic, I think it's ridiculous, and I think it's motivated by things that are not basketball. Because if we look at anything surrounding this man's basketball journey, there is not only nothing to dislike, there's everything to love. Drafted during a Taco Bell commercial, late, or grew up as the fat kid and a point guard in Serbia, wearing Denver Nuggets hand-me-downs, comes to the NBA and is treated as a backup. Can you believe some people thought Yusuf Nurkic was better than this man at points? Then was dismissed for being soft and European. Then was told he didn't deserve MVPs because he hadn't yet won a title.
He hasn't won anything. He hasn't been to a final. Like, it's a lot of things still in play for that.
What?
Then wins a title and people say it's the easiest title. Wins a 3rd MVP and people say he's the worst MVP and others were robbed. What? Listen to the first 5 points that I made. That is stuff that movies are made of. That is stuff that legends are made of. And he's still only 29. He's still in the peak, entering his prime. Instead of celebrating that we have a once-in-a-lifetime big man that we most likely get to enjoy for another 7 to 10 years, that's all we should be talking about. But instead, the narrative is that somehow this man does not deserve his 3rd MVP award. It's sickening, it's disgusting, and unfortunately, it's